By the end of this lecture, learners will be able to define the meaning of cognitivism in linguistics, describe the key tenets of cognitivism in linguistics, explain the main contribution of cognitivism in linguistics, identify the importance of cognitivism in linguistics, determine the strengths and weaknesses of cognitivism in linguistics. Hello everybody, and welcome to the UNIV-ENGLISH channel. If you have not been here before, then, welcome to the UNIV-ENGLISH channel. If you're interested in learning more about linguistics, then make sure to hit the subscribe button, and also smash the notification bell, to receive notifications of when I produce more videos like this. For more information, you are invited to visit my website, english.mokerma.com. So, let's begin with this question. What is cognitivism in linguistics? Cognitivism is one of the major schools of thought in linguistics. It studies the mental processes underlying language use. These processes include perception, memory, attention, and production. Cognitivists aim to understand how language users access, store, and retrieve information from their mental lexicon. They also seek to understand how this information is organized and how it influences language behavior. It is also known as the cognitive approach, mentalism, or psychological approach. The cognitivist approach has its roots in the work of Noam Chomsky, who proposed that language is a product of the human mind. This theory contrasts with behaviorism, which focuses on the role of external factors in language. Cognitivism has been influenced by psychology and cognitive science, and it emphasizes the mental processes involved in language use. The key ideas of cognitivism are that language is a system of rules that are learned and stored in the mind, and that language processing is a matter of mental manipulation of these rules. Definition of cognitivism in linguistics. Vivian Evans and Melanie Green, 2006, state that the most important way in which cognitive linguistics differs from other approaches to the study of language, then, is that language is assumed to reflect certain fundamental properties and design features of the human mind. According to Mergel, 1998, cognitivism is a process based on the thought process behind the behavior. Changes in behavior are observed, and used as to what is happening inside the learner's mind. Heb, 2003. Cognitive theories emphasize the children-conscious thought. Justin Marquis, 2008, claims that cognitivism is a learning theory according to which mental processes mediate learning and learning entails the construction or reshaping of mental schemata. The Origins of Cognitivism. Cognitivism is a theoretical framework that emphasizes the mental processes involved in language. This approach contrasts with behaviorism, which focuses on the external, observable behavior of speakers. The origins of cognitivism can be traced back to the early 20th century. The cognitivist movement was strongly influenced by behaviorism, which was the dominant school of thought in psychology at that time. However, cognitivists believed that mental processes could not be fully understood by observing behavior alone. They argued that internal mental states such as thoughts, beliefs, and desires must be taken into account to truly understand human behavior. Cognitivism quickly became the dominant paradigm in psychology and linguistics in the 1960s and 1970s. The main figures in the development of cognitivism were Fillmore, 1975, Lakoff and Thompson, 1975, Rausch, 1975, who support a theory of language acquisition that emphasized the importance of mental processes such as memory and attention. Besides, proponents of this linguistic school attempted to develop a more scientific approach to the study of the mind. The main principles of cognitivism linguistics. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, a number of linguists began to question the prevailing behaviorist approach to language. They proposed instead that language should be studied as a cognitive process, one that is intimately bound up with other human cognitive processes such as memory, perception, and thought. Cognitivism in linguistics is based on the idea that language is a mental phenomenon. This means that linguistic knowledge is stored in the mind and accessed when we use language. Linguistic knowledge is not just a set of habits or responses acquired through conditioning. It is an organized system of rules and representations that we use to produce and understand language. The first principle is sensation. This principle focuses on the ability to receive and process information from the environment. Sensation allows us to perceive the world around us and make sense of it. Without sensation, we would be unable to understand or communicate with others. The second principle is perception. This principle states that we can only learn about the world through our senses. Our brains take in information from our senses and create mental representations of the world around us. These mental representations are what we use to make sense of the world and communicate with others. The third principle is attention. This principle states that our language ability is limited by the amount of information we can attend to at any given time. For example, when we are listening to someone speak, we can only attend to a certain amount of information at once. If we try to attend to too much information, we will not be able to understand what is being said. The fourth principle is encoding. This principle states that linguistic knowledge is represented in the brain in a systematic way. This means that there is a specific way that the brain stores information about language. This principle is important because it helps us to understand how the brain processes language. The fifth principle is memory. This principle states that all linguistic knowledge is stored in the mind, and that this knowledge can be accessed and used when needed. This principle is based on the idea that all language learning takes place in the mind, and that all linguistic knowledge is mental. Characteristics of cognitivism in linguistics. Cognitivism is a theoretical approach to linguistics that emphasizes the role of mental processes in language. Proponents of cognitivism believe that language is a tool for thought, and that linguistic knowledge is stored in mental representations. The cognitive approach has its roots in philosophy and psychology, and has been influential in the fields of linguistics, anthropology, and neuroscience. Here are some characteristics of cognitivism. 1. Cognitivism views language as a system of symbols that represent concepts in the mind. 2. The meaning of a linguistic utterance is determined by its context and the intentions of the speaker. 3. Language is seen as a tool for communication, not just an expression of thoughts or emotions. 4. The study of language should focus on how it is used in real-world situations. 5. Linguistic knowledge is stored in long-term memory and accessed when needed for communication. 6. The process of language acquisition is seen as similar to other learning processes in cognitive development. 7. Language is viewed as a biologically based mental faculty that is universal to all humans. The main contribution of cognitivism in linguistics. Cognitivism is one of the major schools of thought in linguistics. It emphasizes the role of mental processes in language use and learning. The main contribution of cognitivism is its emphasis on the importance of cognitive factors in language acquisition and processing. Cognitivism has had a major impact on linguistics, particularly in the areas of language development and second language learning. This school of thought has also influenced other disciplines, such as psychology and education. The main contribution of cognitivism to linguistics is its focus on the mental abilities that underlie language use. These abilities include things like memory, attention, and problem solving. Cognitivism has helped to explain how we acquire and use language. It has provided insights into the nature of language itself. It has stressed the active role of the learner in constructing meaning from language input. Cognitivism has had a major impact on research in linguistics, psychology, and education, and has led to new ways of thinking about language learning and teaching. It has emphasized the importance of mental processes in understanding language. Strengths of cognitivism in linguistics. The advocates of cognitivism focus on the study of how the mind works, which makes it an important perspective in linguistics. Several strengths of cognitivism may be singled out. Cognitivism provides an explanation for how people acquire language. It emphasizes that people learn language through interaction with other people and their environment. It can account for individual differences in linguistic ability. Cognitivism focuses on the mental processes that are involved in language use, which makes it a valuable perspective for understanding how language works. It has a strong empirical basis, which makes it a powerful tool for studying language. Cognitivism is able to explain a wide range of linguistic phenomena, from simple everyday utterances to complex linguistic constructs. It provides insights into the nature of human cognition, which can be applied to other areas of study beyond linguistics. It has been influential in shaping the field of linguistics, and its insights are still being used today to further our understanding of language. Cognitivism is able to show how language and cognition are related, which provides a strong theoretical framework for studying the relationship between language and other aspects of human cognition. Weaknesses of cognitivism in linguistics. Cognitivism has been influential in linguistics since the 1950s. However, there are several weaknesses associated with this approach. Cognitivism has difficulty accounting for linguistic variation. For example, different people may use the same word to mean different things, or they may use different words to refer to the same thing. This variation is difficult to explain in terms of mental processes. Cognitivism assumes that all languages are fundamentally similar because they are raw products of the human mind. However, there is evidence that some languages are more complex than others, and that some languages have features that are not found in other languages. This suggests that there are important differences between languages which cannot be explained by appeal to mental processes alone. While these weaknesses may seem insurmountable, researchers continue to explore cognitivism as a possible explanation for how language works. Conclusion. Cognitivism is the study of language from a psychological perspective. It is concerned with how people acquire, use, and understand language. The cognitive approach to linguistics was developed in the 1960s and 1970s in response to behaviorism. Cognitivism has had a major impact on our understanding of language. It has helped us to understand how people acquire and use language, and how they communicate with each other. Cognitivism has also helped us to develop new ways of teaching language and to improve our understanding of bilingualism and second language learning. The main contribution of cognitivism is its emphasis on the importance of cognitive factors in language acquisition and processing.